Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. It is another episode of In This Very Ring right here on A2D Radio. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. My name is Ritz. And joining me as they do all the time, it is the OGP of A2D, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pete Evans.
Greetings and salutations, my dear Earthlings. We are in the presence of an alien beneath us.
What he means by that. Joining us right down here, Handlebars himself, ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of Toasty Town, Butters.
Woohoo!
What in God's name is on your face?
It's like you lost a bet.
It's like Paul Jr. from Orange County Choppers plus 100 pounds.
I don't know. What do you do? Okay, say something, please, because the people don't think that you.
What was going through your head when you said,
grew
you know what?
hair and decided to shave.
And so you decided to leave it all, like just that left?
Yep.
Okay, sure.
I just wanted to try something different. I eventually plan on growing it all back. I just wanted to try something different for a little bit.
And thoughts on this are
Mixed reviews.
so no, you don't say. Personal thoughts on this are.
Hey, I like it.
Then screw it.
What would this look get you on the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Probably like a 2.
Oh man, this is great. These are what I live for. But we've got a lot to talk about. We haven't really been on since WrestleMania. Backlash was just a couple nights ago. We're gonna break that down. A really uneventful Raw. I was really hoping we were gonna get something more in kind of us looking forward to tonight's show and setting things up and kind of getting an idea of what we're gonna talk about. We really didn't get much from Monday Night Raw. So I want to go back to last Saturday. Backlash in St. Louis, headlined by John Cena versus Randy Orton. First things first, how do you guys feel? John Cena obviously retains the title. How did you guys feel after watching the match?
I was a little conflicted. I mean, the ending was what it was. We figured it was going to be a schmoz ending for Cena to keep the title.
Mm-hmm.
And up until the R-Truth segment at the end, I thought we were going to see a start of a Cena, face turn. You could see the confliction in his face if you're able to watch the commercial-free version where they cut back to the ring afterwards. You see him looking at the title. You see the confliction in his face, wanting to celebrate with the fans as they thank him. He's walking away. You see more confliction in him, and it's like, okay, we can see this start, and then you watch the R-Truth segment, you're like, never mind.
Well, but to piggyback off of that, one, if you missed what Butters is talking about, it was posted on WWE social media. I know specifically on their X account. That's where I caught it at.
Yep.
Where he has a conversation with the fans and everything like that. And then that carries over to him going to the press conference and essentially saying, I need to have a better relationship with you guys and stop dodging your questions. You started to see it. And I don't think the truth thing was necessarily like him continuing to be a heel. It was more along the lines of, I'm just not going to take it from anybody anymore.
Mm.
And he gave Ron a warning, right? Like, you cross the line, you say one more thing, I'm gonna drop you. And Ron opens his mouth. Cena follows through. He didn't lie to him.
Yeah.
Right? I hope we don't get into this rut with these championship matches where they go for so long. Like this one went 27, almost 28 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you have ref bump after ref bump after ref bump. And
what was with everybody coming out and checking on the ref? Like, y'all never do this.
It was to set up the RKO bit.
I would say this, for those who are, say, 30 and younger, right? The way he's working his matches now this is almost vintage Flair 1987-88.
Right.
Like very slow, methodical. There's going to be some bumps. And he said that this kind of goes back to what he said last year, where he admittedly said, like, I can tell I've lost a step. Right.
Which
he has to work at this slower pace, but he's just doing it more methodical and as a conflicted heel, which I'm actually pissed off that this face turn whole shit is happening this fast, because there's been nothing to trigger it. If it's happening at all. Like I need a catalyst for him to do something to where he
the trigger / catalyst is the fans. They keep cheering for him. They keep thanking Cena.
But I think this is smart. Hold on now.
Go ahead.
Right? I think this is smart on two fronts. Number one, we really saw him more so address the press
right
as I need to not dodge your questions. Right, I need to answer you. It was almost like I leaned too much into the character to ignore your questions, right? But then when you look at the stuff that he did in the ring, he's recognizing that I may have put these people down, but when the dust has settled and the smoke is cleared and my match is over, right, or my segment is over, these people are cheering me as I leave them for the last time.
Right.
Right. So it's like, as angry as I am, as bitter as I've become, do I still want to end my career on this sour note where I'm the only one that's sour? They're not booing me. They boo me during the segment when I say something disparaging. They boo me when I beat up on their hero. But they have still appreciate me. They're appreciating the fact that I went out there and put on a 30-minute match.
Right.
Right. Albeit slow paced, albeit full of bumps and spots and different things like that. Right. And so I think we're starting to see that. I truly think, because he also has limited dates, this is where the second front comes into play. You start laying the groundwork for some of this as you start gearing into Cena's build for SummerSlam, which I think includes somewhere in there, honest to God, and I had this epiphany this morning, a match with R-Truth.
I thought they had one booked already.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do yet. See, I feel the same way. As I feel like.
Well, let me expand just a second, and I'll throw it to you. Right, R-Truth is the catalyst to the face turn. Here's somebody who has been idolizing John Cena and has always been about John Cena and has always talked about John Cena in such a high regard and this, that, and the other thing. And even though Cena's been mean to him and beaten up on him and everything like that, Ron still idolizes him and can see past the darkness. And I think, one, it would be a great way to start that redemption arc for Cena, because Truth has really been the super fan. It'd be the greatest long-term storytelling of all time. But two, if you were to tell me R-Truth was retiring as well within the next year, what a way to go out, right? To do a program with somebody who you've referenced so many times as being your hero, and to potentially be in a world title match, and dare I say, right, and have him win the title. And it'd be a great way to transition the title off of John without killing his momentum per se.
Well, I think here's
Hold on,
go ahead.
Throw it to Butters.
Go to Butters, and I'm gonna come back. Depending on what this guy says down here, I already got some words for this guy over here.
I was gonna, say that, maybe this is the start of R-Truth versus Cena. Maybe this is the way they end Cena, Cena's title reign. Like at the end.
Before you continue, that doesn't shock me. Me and Rich just looked at the same thing. That does not shock me at all.
What?
We know what we just, the notification we just got.
You just got it too, but you were talking.
You were talking.
And note my response.
I'll note it in a minute. But I felt like maybe this is where we, maybe they'll give us an R-Truth versus John Cena, and R-Truth gets that title for that long walk into the sunset. And to your point, maybe this is
it's going to be a long walk.
Maybe this goes from we lose goofy R-Truth, and this starts a serious R-Truth where, hey, my hero just put me down. I need to get more serious. I need to whoop his ass. Maybe take something.
I don't even know if you can do that. No, I think you can get more serious to have him want him to have vengeance, retribution, but to kind of leads me back to what Rich was saying, and I think that it's not the face turn. I think you could do ultimately whatever match that they do. Ron, the Truth, whatever you want to call him, R-Truth, wins the title.
Okay, quick.
But he only has it for 2 weeks. And then have Cena do a rebound, and then have him even lean into it harder, the heel, before because I'm trying to think to myself.
Well, I was just thinking the Truth would get cashed in on.
You could have Cena win the Money in the Bank.
But I don't think so.
No, I see where Rich is going with this.
Money in the Bank is Money in the Bank is only like 3 weeks away because it's while I'm in Alaska. Right.
Yeah, it's June 7th.
Yeah, so that's like 3 weeks away, 3 weeks from Saturday. And you're not going to have Cena for that, I don't think, necessarily. Right? And then that's the next one. After that, here I have it pulled up right here. We have Saturday night's main event. Then Jesus Christ. Money in the Bank. Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia.
That's the 28th. So that's 3 weeks after.
Yep. And then they do another Saturday night's main event in July. And then SummerSlam. So you could, in theory, I don't think you're going to you might get Cena for Saudi. You could probably get Cena for Saudi.
Especially his last one.
Right.
Has he ever done Saudi before?
I don't think he has.
Didn't he take solo one-on-one in a Saudi show?
It might have been a Saudi show.
Maybe. Hold on, I'm looking right now. I don't see.
So you're saying by SummerSlam, do you think, this general question, by SummerSlam, do you think Cena is still in the picture as a title, in the title picture?
No.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that. I'm going to go. Oh, yes, it was Solo John Cena 2023 at Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Solo beat him clean.
Correct. And that was what set up for John Cena to get involved at 40 when Solo got involved. That was why that worked.
Okay.
I mean, you could make it to where R-Truth does win the title off of John, and then, to y'all's point, immediately get cashed in on by whoever won Money in the Bank. Take the title elsewhere while John Cena starts his face turn and ends it in Boston.
Say that again one more time. I was reading something over here trying to figure out where I was going.
You have R-Truth win the title from Cena, get cashed in on, the title scene can go exit stage left while John Cena starts back to his face turn so he can end his career in Boston where his final appearance is going to be.
So let me run this a different way.
Mm-hmm.
You have Money in the Bank. Saturday night's main event is going to come and go. Cena might be there. I know he's on the promotional work for it. You could probably do an R-Truth John Cena match there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's in a couple of weeks. Actually, sorry, that's in 2 weeks. And then you could maybe do, and again, I can't believe we're actually putting a lot of thought into R-Truth being in a multi-layered.
It's a transitional champion.
Yeah, but I see R-Truth winning at SummerSlam and being cashed on immediately, like the next night. He wins it on night one, right? He's doing some little goofy promo in the ring on night two. he gets cashed in on by like a Seth Rollins, right? And that's how Seth gets the title. Because Seth doesn't beat. Well, you have Logan Paul, Jey Uso in 2 weeks, right? I don't know where Seth would get included there, or you could also do it to where, God, who else would challenge for it on SmackDown? Maybe Cody
Drew
would be in the qualifier. Drew would be in the qualifier. LA Knight would be in the qualifier.
Actually, he fucking needs a run, man.
Right.
He needs a solid run.
Would be in the qualifier. I'm trying to think of who's going to be in the Money in the Bank match.
Here's the crossroads, right? No pun intended.
Very much so.
Money in the Bank. Because even what we saw with Backlash, I know kind of all over the place. Like, I feel like where Jacob is at right now, everybody, whatever, they think Solo going to turn. But I think with Jeff Cobb now with Solo, I would not mind it if we put Solo in a position to win Money in the Bank, and then he can cash in. But I'm very intrigued to see where they can go, because I already kind of, from what I'm seeing on Raw, I kind of know what that match is going to be.
What do you mean? What match?
Where I think it's going to be a 6-man tag at Money in the Bank with Seth, Braun, and a person to be named later. I have an idea who it's down between 2 people in my mind. That's who I think is going to end up joining the alliance on Saturday night's main event. But I also think at some point it's going to be,
I don't know if we're going to be on again. So who do you have joining them?
Okay, so I either have Kaiser joining,
interesting,
or Karrion.
I don't think Karrion doesn't fit that. I like Kaiser for that better.
If you go back and look at the first Dangerous Alliance that he had Missy High in there, and she was a valet for one of the other members.
Fair. And
Karrion's been going out of his, not so much to join directly, but remember, Karrion has been going out his way the past 2 weeks. At first, it started with AJ, and then he harped on Sammy. He had the interaction with Sammy 2 weeks ago. Last week, he had the promo where he cut on Sammy, and he specifically said, "What would you do if you were asked to join? What would you?" Those were his exact words. I don't know, and a lot of times because I have ads, his promos are on the ad-free version, so I wait until they upload them to social to see them. So I'm pretty sure. I think he had another one. You know what I mean? And it's odd because now he's not getting involved with AJ anymore. It's more Sammy, but he's actively bringing up Seth's name. And
okay,
you think about if he's trying to take that next step, and everything for the future of this industry runs through Seth. I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to be Seth's minion, right? But as far as him, Scarlett, and Heyman, you talking about somebody that can elevate him to that next level. And who can benefit from the rub. Just imagine him and Braun as tag team champions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like you need that. And then I don't know, and maybe Kaiser still does join, but I think all that happens because either it's another tag team match, whether it's different if it's Jay and somebody else, where, like you said, I think they're going to tease Jay getting cashed in on or a champion getting cashed in on at Money in the Bank, because that's ultimately where Roman's coming back at. That's going to be his next appearance. Is June 7th at Money in the Bank.
That's a fair statement.
You know, that's why I'm leaning maybe they do like the triple threat, what have you. I don't think it's a turn. You know, I don't think Sammy's going to turn not this early. You know, I don't know. I like the idea of Seth winning Money in the Bank and then cashing in on someone like Truth and them all going to SmackDown or what have you. I want to see Jay get at least a couple, 2, 3, 4 months out of this run. You said,
I would agree. Like last week,
you see my under title, so neither one of you caught it yet.
Huh? Oh no, I see it. I caught it. I just haven't had an opportunity to reference it because I really was focused on handlebars earlier. I was really I was locked in on that one. Last week? I think I messaged you guys during the main event, and I said, "What the hell is happening?" Because I thought they were taking the title off of it.
But I kind of knew You had that feeling. That's the beauty about it, right? They made you believe like this really could happen. But when they first announced the match, I was like, yeah, there's no way that they're gonna do this title switch this fast, right?
Yeah.
But then I still believe that. But in the moment when you're watching it, you're like, damn, they could really.
Because I had missed a lot of the setup last week.
Okay.
By the time I got home and got settled and got it turned on, Seth Rollins is coming down to the ring for the match. Like, it's go time.
Yeah. And,
right? And
does it bother anyone else that he has not changed his music?
No.
For whatever reason, that
I don't think his music
and with Heyman, for whatever reason, it doesn't flow. Like I don't think the
music change comes until he wins the title.
Huh?
The music change doesn't come until he wins the title.
Okay.
Right? Or like they actually like establish themselves in a group setting or something to that effect, right? More so than just a tag team. But last week watching it, I was like, man, they're really kind of setting up Jay for some failure here. And I hadn't seen what kind of led to that. And so I think the turnbuckle had come off, and then Braun got involved, and then Sammy got involved, and then Braun laid out Sammy. Once Punk came out, I was like, oh, this match is over. Because I knew Punk was going right into the ring and he was going to beat the brakes off of Seth with the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think that was just well done on everybody's part on that. And I think Seth it's weird right now when you look at WWE and you look at the Raw title picture. You have Logan Paul knocking out Jey Uso last week after Raw goes off the air. Right. Logan's not on the show tonight, but he gets the title match in 2 weeks at Saturday's Night Main Event.
They had announced that already, though.
But tell me you're a gimmick spot, which is disappointing because Logan's good in the ring.
Right.
But that's no different when they had Logan go up against Roman in Saudi Arabia.
Not even just to echo that, right? And then they also make it more convoluted because of why the fuck is your face on your own cup?
I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody made it for me for my travel agency business.
Okay, that's out. I'll give you that.
It was a gift.
But they made it more convoluted because what Gunther said tonight. The winner of whoever that is on Saturday Night's Main Event gets me.
All I understand now is Paul got Seth a title match last week.
Right.
Right? And that was it for Seth's title run because now he's got to deal with Punk and Zayn and even Jey Uso now by proxy. Unless this just has the undertones of Seth and Braun and this mystery third man that could potentially be a thing, has to go through Jay's defenders, Jay's shield, to get to Jay in order for Rollins to beat Jay at SummerSlam.
I don't think you're going Rollins. They set it up so beautifully because now you're thinking like, and then even what happened tonight with Braun coming to get Jay right on the orders of Seth. I think if it happens, I don't even think it happens at SummerSlam. I think it happens at that July Saturday Night's Main Event. That's where I think it happens. That will be a title change. Where I think
the one going head to head with All In or All Out or whatever.
I think it happens at that one because it just doesn't make sense to how you can remove yourself that far from this one fire like this. You haven't even put this fire out when it comes to Punk, and then once again, Roman, right? That fire hasn't gone out yet. Y'all started that shit. Y'all kicked that hornet's nest, and then you think you can just move on to the title? Like, nah, fam, we still here. You can't resolve all of that and
still win the title.
Right.
Because Punk said it, and I loved it when Punk said, as long as I'm on 2 feet, you won't be champion.
Right.
Right. And I think, though, it's great that you're setting all these different fires for Seth because, steel is forged through fire. And for him to become unstoppable and, unbeatable and unbreakable, like all.
But see, this is where
all of Paul Heyman's modern era guys,
right.
he has to walk through those different fires. And if he can walk through those fires, and it's different trials by fire now for Seth than he's ever faced in his career. Sometimes the same people, but these people are such in an elevated state. Like, everybody moved up over the last few years, and Seth always just kind of stayed level. Seth peaked at WrestleMania 31, right? And then he kind of dicked around.
I would say 19. Not 19. 39. Not 39. No, in 2019. I know what the fuck I'm saying. Got me confused. 2019 WrestleMania 35 when he Lesnar.
Yeah, but even still though, right? If you let's say that's his peak. You dicked around for the next. Yeah, you dicked around for the next few years when it came to WrestleMania matches, right?
I mean,
and being in the spotlight, and yeah, you had your championship. You were the first world heavyweight champion, but you were only world champion, and to coin a Paul Heyman phrase, because Roman Reigns didn't want to work Mondays.
Yeah.
Right? So they had to make you a champion because Roman wasn't losing the title. They were onto something with Roman, but they knew they needed another title to keep Raw relevant.
See, this may be an unpopular opinion.
Sure.
Everything I'm hearing about this whole alliance, and while I expect it to go sour at some point, like it will, but I think it's going to go sour with Heyman turning again. There's nothing in what Heyman was drawn to Seth out of hatred and vengeance and hurt by Punk and Roman. It wasn't because he believes in Seth.
Because if you watched it back tonight, watch Seth's part of the promo back and watch Paul's face as Seth calls Paul Punk scum.
You see what I'm saying? So that's when I'm sitting here thinking to myself, somehow, some way, it may get all swerved. But to me, I don't know what else Seth can. Roman hadn't hit his stride. Roman, up until that point, SummerSlam 2020, hadn't had his WrestleMania 31 moment where you said Seth with the authority and all that other good stuff. Right? And that came full circle because Seth had fought Triple H at another WrestleMania shortly thereafter, right? Mm-hmm. So everything we saw Tribal Chief, that was Roman hitting his stride. I'm not a believer in I don't know what else Seth, this is cool, coat of paint, but honestly, I want to see Heyman shaft Seth and go with Braun. That's the future to be. I don't know what Seth can do from his in-ring, from his promos, to his look, to his music, to where, hey, like, this is another iteration of yourself, to where if you're surrounded by these guys, where I believe that you are the baddest motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like what we saw when the second instance of the Bloodline, and as soon as Jacob came in, all right, so ain't nobody looking at you?
Yeah.
You never felt like that. See, that's the beauty about it, right? With the Bloodline, you never felt like that about Roman. You never felt like anyone in the original Bloodline can overtake Roman one-on-one like that.
If you look at every time Seth has been a heel, he's always had to have what?
Muscle.
He's always had to have somebody surrounding him.
Right,
he had the authority after the Shield. He had the authority. He had Buddy Murphy. Who the hell else did he have?
Akam and Razor.
Yeah, he had AOP.
Yeah, he had AOP for a little bit. That was miserable.
When he was the Messiah.
He had AOP right before they got fired the first time.
Yeah, and so he's always had somebody around him, and unfortunately, Seth's a good heel, right? He's a good mastermind,
Mm-hmm.
but you always put people with him that are destined for more,
Right.
right? Or
And
that
that's
you're
kind
going
of
to
like
fight.
it's
You
like a
either put
stepping
people
stone to that
that
instance.
are destined for more.
Right.
You're going to fire in a few months, or you grab some cronies from the back and let them be, his stooges.
Right. Like it's weird because Seth is one of those very few rare talents who's been a heel, who's been a face. I enjoy Seth more. Where it's very hard in today's climate to book a babyface champion. I think Seth is one of the ones that you can do that with.
Mm-hmm.
More so than a heel Seth.
This Seth, this is where they missed the mark. If Seth were to have assembled this alliance of people as a baby face,
oh yeah,
during Roman's run, then we would have had something on our hands.
Yep.
Right? Then we would have, or even during the Judgment Day, kind of at their peak, we would have had something on their hands.
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm already thinking. I'm not even, how can I say it? I'm not even really concerned with what he does. I just want to see what the rest of this alliance is going to look like and who's in it, because ultimately they're going to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
You're going to get the Edge treatment.
Right, like they're going to replace you. So I'm looking at this like, okay, like who is, and once again, go back to what Paul, even last week when Paul's eyes were bulging out his head, he wasn't talking about Seth. He was talking about his pain, his betrayal that he felt that led him to take these drastic actions. It wasn't because he looked at the three of them and said, yeah, Seth is the best one out of the three of y'all. No, that wasn't it.
Which is disappointing though too, because we laid out what they should have done with this, and it's just not. It doesn't look like it's going to come to pass, which is a little disappointing, because I think we laid out a really good role for everybody to play throughout this.
Right.
But Butters, you got anything?
Nope.
I would say this. The one wild card that I think, if they really want to make Seth this Shawn Michaels 1993 4-5 dickhead heel who is really, really good in the ring, it's going to sound crazy, but if anybody can get this guy over talking for him, it's a big 7'3" or 2 motherfucker that we ain't seen who had a Japan run. And all you need is this dude on Saturday Night's Main Event just to come out the crowd and chop the shit out of Punk or Sami Zayn, and they get the win. And that's Omos. Because at that point, then you can just, you don't even, Paul's there, but imagine Seth coming out to the music, flanked by Heyman, flanked by Omos, flanked by Braun Breaker, and then he's protected. He doesn't have to work heavy matches, but he's just the muscle. He's the diesel. He's the diesel to, you know what I mean, to what Shawn was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's now, in his iterations, he's never had that.
Omos is almost like the 911.
Correct.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like he's a single man's 3-minute warning.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? So I don't. There's so many different ways it can go with it. I mean, I feel like because WrestleMania was this weekend. It'd be 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
almost a month. So I don't know. It's weird, man. I feel like it's in a good spot, but it's in a weird spot.
Well, it's in its off season. We always run into this, and this is kind of why, like, from a to pull the curtain back a little bit from a programming standpoint, that's why we opted to go down to once a week. I mean, once a month, right?
Yeah.
Because you like, even tonight we were sitting there watching Raw tonight, and I was just like, wow, this is for a fallout from Backlash, which was a generally solid show, top to bottom,
Right.
with the exception of one match. I thought it was great, and then Raw just kind of fell flat on its face.
But see, here's the thing.
Maybe SmackDown will pick it up.
Right, because if you look at what the main event was for that PLE, it wasn't geared towards Raw. It was
Correct.
geared towards SmackDown. Like even if you go back and you look at last year's Backlash when they did it in France, I think they had a world heavyweight. It was Priest versus Jey Uso, right? But then also I think what closed out the night was Cody AJ, right? So just think about and McAfee, who I swear I wish McAfee was the size of Braun Breaker because he would be hands down. He just can out talk anybody on the mic.
Tell you what, though, a lot of credit, and I like the fact that even Gunther acknowledged it. A lot of credit to McAfee.
Oh yeah,
for taking the blows he took on Saturday, and Gunther for making McAfee look phenomenal. Not that McAfee's bad, but
right.
they both looked really, really good Saturday night. And I kind of want to use that to kind of shift gears just a little bit, because we have spent the first half of the show really breaking down just kind of Seth Rollins' whole dynamic of things. I want to get into some of the rest of Money in the Bank.
Okay.
And
Backlash.
Backlash. Sorry, I have Money in the Bank still pulled up here.
You're good.
While we were talking about it.
But do you have money in the bank? That's the problem.
I always have Money in the Bank. I'm a Jew.
I knew he was gonna say it.
Yeah, so I like I said, we'll put Pat McAfee over phenomenally here. He went 14 minutes with Gunther. Gunther made him look great. Michael
How long was the match?
Involved 14 minutes. Michael Cole even got involved, which I thought was really, really well done. And he said it on the pre-show. I'm going to be incredibly biased. Deal with it. My favorite call though from the whole match is I think McAfee flips out of a German, lands on his feet, and big boots Gunther, and then super kicks Gunther. At the big boot, right before he goes to the super kick, Wade Barrett with the most genuine, oh my God, of all time from Wade.
I almost felt like
calling from Wade.
I almost was like, all right, if he's going to get physical with Cole, is Wade going to like?
I thought the same thing too, right? Like when Wade was like, Cole, no, don't do it. Was Wade going to hit him with like, a bull hammer or something with the ref distracted? I was like, ooh, I would like to see that.
Right.
Wade in the ring one more time. But wasn't it injuries who took him out?
It was an injury that took him out. But that's what I'm saying. I don't need him in the ring. Just he can still throw a punch.
Well, it was an elbow. Yeah,
but I'm just saying, right? He can still strike somebody. He doesn't have to get hit, but he can throw something if he needs to. We're not asking for much. I thought the place would have exploded when he got Cole in the ring if Barrett just would have hit him with a bull hammer.
Yeah.
Dominik Mysterio versus Penta. This was a really short match. It was what it was. We got the El Grande Americano, which I think the Rey Mysterio injury really hurt this storyline because I feel like they had so much more planned for this, and now we're just kind of throwing him in anywhere where there's a lucha and there's Penta and all that.
I can't wait until they take the risk and do the Doink the Clown shit, if they'll do it, where you have Chad and then you have El Grande Americano, and everybody's just like, what the is going on?
Like that would be the best way to pull this off, because if at this point, right, we're 2 months into this bit, almost 3, if the mask comes off and it is Chad Gable, now we're just anticlimactic to it, right?
Right.
Because we all expect it to be. At this point, you have to find a way to make it be someone else.
Right. That's like, really going back, that's like 1992 with the Black Scorpion. And who they wanted it to be, and then that didn't happen, and they had to fall back on Flair.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I've seen the dude, like he was not that built to Flair. So I'm trying, like as we're talking, I'm trying to go through my Rolodex in my mind about who is a similar shape and size that like Gable. I mean, the only person I can think of, honestly, right now would be Tyler Bate. But Tyler's Bate, his quads are like 2 times the size of Chad Gable.
It's not. It doesn't measure up correctly.
No.
Or
do you just do it so outlandishly that like, all right, we know we're not done, but this is they're in the same spot at the same time.
And the guy's like 3 feet taller than Chad.
Exactly.
That's
the funny part about
it's like Julius.
Oh yeah, like if it's Julius or somebody like that.
Lyra versus Becky. Couple things I want to say about this.
Go ahead.
One,
the whole lead up. Give me everything.
I felt like this was some of Lyra's best work promo wise, leading into the match. We really, and I called it too, right? When Becky had turned, I made the comment. I was like, I think this is what's going to get Lyra to really come out of her shell,
right,
and really kind of excel and be a better star.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to Saturday night in the match, and I don't know what the hell was going on, but it seemed real sloppy. The timing seemed really off on things, and there's a small voice inside my head that says they rushed the finish.
I think it started off slow, but I think it got there. What about you, Butters?
I love me some Lyra Valkyrie. I really do.
Valkyria,
whatever.
It doesn't matter. He would change his name to Valkyria.
I'm sure he would.
No, I'd probably get made more fun of than her current fiance did. But it was an okay match. It didn't do for me what the lead up to it did. I mean, meh.
Based on what we saw tonight out of Becky's promo, I feel like they didn't hurt Lyra by obviously her winning, right? And it just kind of still elevated Becky. It really didn't hurt Becky. I will say this though, promo wise, yes, it brought Lyra out of her shell. She still cannot, whatever reason, stop being a dead fish when you're in cell. You got put in the disarmor after the match, and you're like laying motionless.
Well, but I think, and this is where I think we botched the finish to that match. You go back and you watch it. A couple things that I caught. One, I really do think she broke her nose.
Okay.
Right? Because as she's holding Becky's leg,
like she was supposed to get thumbed in the eye, right? But you think she hit her nose?
I think she hit her nose and either dislocated her nose or something. Because while she's holding Becky's leg for the pin, you can see her, like the camera, she's almost looking at the camera, but her eyes are closed as she's doing this with her nose, right? Like she's trying to feel around. So I think that she didn't let go, and they botched the finish, and Becky realizing either one, something's wrong, right? Or two, just kept going with things, rolled her up and put her in the disarmor to at least try to sell it a little bit more, while Lyra, I'm sure, was still trying to figure out what's going on here. Because if you follow back up with that, when they come back from that little replay they do, she's still kind of messing with her nose. She looks a little dazed and confused. She can barely really stand, right? So I think Lyra got I won't say like a time away kind of injury, but I think her bell got rung really, really hard.
Well, you saw what happened to Drew.
Yeah, and she jacked some part of her nose up enough to where some of that might have been done for her own safety. Right? At least that's what I'm willing to believe. Right, I missed Becky's promo because I was getting ready for the show, so I have to go back.
Yeah, it was just like everybody says this. I left because of y'all. You told me to go away. I come back and then cheer, and then it gave me false hope. It wasn't just Lyra; it was all you and every girl in the locker room in the back. Now you're gonna know what it's gonna be like, what it feels like to be held down by a man. by the man. And she walked off.
So with that promo, then that kind of reinforces the fact that there's a little concern of Lyra maybe potentially being injured. Yep. Right. So let's give Becky an out here in case Lyra is injured, to where she's going to start going after the rest of the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm not sure what faces do you have that's not in the title picture, because you literally have Rhea and Io. They're involved in the title picture. I mean, all right, I'm sorry, Maxine Dupree, you about to get your ass worn out.
Pretty much. Natalia,
take her on first.
Yeah,
but I think we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, kind of thing. I think WWE, for one of the first times ever, might have given themselves the out here, though, just in case they have to go that way.
Could be.
And then Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship. I caught this in spurts, but what I did catch, I loved. I thought it was very, very physical, exactly what you expected it to be. The Jeff Cobb thing was weird, but I don't hate it.
Since when did he become Samoan?
Was that you that sent that? I died when I saw that.
But you're assuming that. You're assuming that it's a bloodline related thing. We don't know that yet. I hear you.
Why wouldn't it be? I mean,
because now, once he lost to Ulafala back in January, you haven't even after that. Remember when it was still Tama, Jacob, and Solo? They wasn't referring to them as the bloodline. They just referring to them as Solo, Tama, and Jacob. I hear what. Don't get me wrong. Once again, at face value, what you say makes sense. But I think we're past that now. And then we have to see what they say on SmackDown, where Jacob's facial expressions and the way he sold it, and he said 1,000 words without saying nothing, is like, if this dude, who is now the legit monster on SmackDown, is looking sideways at this guy, why is that? Is because he almost looked like he was afraid or uneasy. No one's made him look like that since he debuted last July. So he already put Jeff Cobb over just in that standpoint.
Well, and then they had a tiff backstage as well, where Fatu was like, "I don't know what you're doing with this guy." Da, da, da. It was almost like one of those things of like, "Are you replacing me? Do you know you can't beat me solo? So you brought in someone else to try to put me in line?" Like, I like that kind of underlying story that they told with that, without outright telling us that side of the story.
Right, and remember, he kept saying on the Friday before, the SmackDown before, he was like, "What's your plan?" He's like, "Got one plan. That's to beat them all." Right, but Solo, obviously being the conniving dude that he is, already orchestrated Tama and Tonga behind his back and Jacob behind Roman's back. What makes him think that? Like, that's like saying, "Hey, you got a girl, she cheated on her last boyfriend. Now you shocked that she about to cheat on you." You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's how she got you in the first place. Mm-hmm. You was the side piece. Now she got another side piece. So obviously we know what's coming. But that's why I say, almost to the point where I don't even want the Jacob and all that shit to happen. I'd rather them try to rock as these three and then help Cobb elevate Solo to the Money in the Bank. Because, I mean, listen, you've seen Jeff Cobb wrestle, right, Butters?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, a little bit in AEW, but not like a whole
no,
lot.
Fuck that. You go watch this, go watch him in New Japan, go watch him in Ring of Honor.
Okay.
This is the closest thing to Taz in his prime that I've ever seen. He's that good.
He is very good. I was surprised. Like, when I saw him, at first it took me half a second. I honestly thought for a half a second it was what was it? Zillow is his name?
Oh, Zilla, yeah. Zilla has no hair. Zilla has hair like
me. And because again, so I was listening to it, right? And I pulled up to a soda place down here as it was all happening, and so I got to catch it, but I was still a glimpse because I'm trying to order and get the different things that I'm doing, and I was like, wait a minute, and I ordered real quickly, turned back and looked, and that's when I heard them go, "It's Jeff Cobb." I went, okay, and I still went, holy shit.
Did they add him to the rosters page yet?
I don't look. I haven't been on WWE.com.
No, because the reason I say is because somebody had made a mention of WWE the after show, Big E said the person formerly known as Jeff Cobb, or so that's what makes me think.
Now
Are they
you're gonna
trying
make
to
me do
change his
something I haven't
name?
done in 2 decades. Go to WWE.com. I didn't even think this thing existed still.
So
That's what I was doing now.
Shut up.
You shut up.
But no, I like it. It's definitely a different direction that's going to be contained within the mid-card title picture, or that friction between Jacob and Solo now, but you don't have to blow that friction off, because once again, you have 2 weeks to Memorial Day, and then the weekend after. So the weekend of Memorial Day, I believe. So no, it's 2 weeks, because June 2nd, then it's the weekend after. So you're about, like you said, 3-4 weeks away. I don't know if we get there to that point where it's Jacob versus Solo for the U.S. title.
Well, we might
Because and honestly, I don't know if you need to. I really don't even need them to do that. Obviously, they have a blowout where Jacob's just like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. I won this title by myself. I didn't need you. I'm curious to see where, if Tom is hurt, and Tonga's probably about to come back, and there's still more. Like you got Lance, you got the tall one. So you still got
the
2 more.
tall one, he said.
I can't Hikuleo. Haku's other. I think it's Haku's youngest son, but Lance on Hawaii.
I don't think this guy's on the roster at all.
Yeah, so Lance on Hawaii is kind of built like Cobb, but obviously not as dense. Like I would love to see a Cobb versus Gable match. Oh my god! Just to because Cobb was a legit wrestler.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say I think he's Filipino and Cambodian.
Wait a minute. El Grande Americano is a WWE Speed Champion.
Yo, you know that?
I quit. I'm done. I'm going to bed.
He now holds a title. He is WWE Gold.
Shut up. That's
You know you
so
love Grand
stupid.
Americano.
Shut up.
No.
I'm double checking this just a SmackDown roster, making sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I don't. This dude is not on here.
Nah, man. Nah. So, what would you give Backlash a scale of 1 to 5?
I'd give it a 3.5.
I give it a 4.
I'm sitting like 3.3, 3.5, 3.75. 5 matches.
All right,
good.
Dave.
You know what I mean?
I 5 matches. It didn't go too long.
Nope.
I think the back half of it was so much better. Right, the middle, the Lyra match and the Dominik match were kind of the weakest parts of the show for me, and I think that's what brings it down a little bit. But the Fatal 4-Way was great. Gunther McAfee did exactly what it set out to do, and John and Randy delivered tremendously. So
when it got to the John Randy match, I was like, wait a minute, that's it? It's over?
Yeah.
Well, but Jax had the same thing because by that point I'm at a graduation party, like a college graduation party, and Jax and I were there, and I kept keeping my eye on X to see when it started. So I jumped in to that match right after the intros.
And I'm like,
and Jax goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Match started." He went, "What?" I go, "Yep. I'm going to sit here and watch it." And I sat there and I watched the damn thing.
it's like, man, that was quick. I thought that pay-per-view was going to be a little longer. Shit. Oh, man.
Nah, man. Trips wants. Now with the money, they want to give you something, and I think he looks at shows different, like what he's going to give people, what talent. Like to think about it, like you had AJ and you had Finn, like. Just to be able to throw that out there on a Monday night like that, some like workers who haven't been used and given that platform. But like, when you look at it, if you turn the match on and you're just casually scrolling or you're streaming whatever, and you see AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, like just because they're not there doesn't mean you're not going to stop for a little bit and watch. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So, and then, AEW is making this whole big deal about main event and women and all that, where we get this shit on a regular and Raw. You know what I mean? WWE.
AEW sucks. Plain and simple. God awful. But yeah, guys, that's really it for us. Like I said, about halfway through, we are transitioning to once a month right now. There's just not enough hard-hitting content, and we have so much coming off of WrestleMania, and then it all just kind of comes to an abrupt stop where it's like, this is the time for us to kind of take a break, scale back, and and bring you guys at least some kind of content throughout the course of the month. Usually we're going to do them right around the PLEs, right? They're usually going to be breakdown shows where we have a lot of content to break down, and there's usually something worth talking about. Because as you saw again with Monday Night Raw, if we would have just come on and talked about Monday Night Raw, or even Friday Night SmackDown for that matter, we would not have had that much to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fraxium.
Huh?
Fraxium. I don't know. This is my rant. I don't know what SmackDown has over there who's running the tag team division, but damn it, it's a staple every Friday.
Yep, every Friday.
Oh, I don't know how they treating Raw. Like it's almost like they treating SmackDown when it comes to the tag team division as a 5-course meal, and they treating the tag team division on Monday Night Raw like a $4 biggie bag at Wendy's. Like a fucking 4 for $4. It's a shame. I mean, New Day can only do so much, and it's like there's not even enough teams, bro. There's no team.
There's really not.
There's only what, like 2 or 3 extra teams?
That's why I don't understand why they sent Fraxium to SmackDown. You literally could have sent Fraxium to Raw, have him open challenge, and I would have been completely fine with them beating the New Day for the World Tag Team title.
I hate Fraxium. I would not have.
Probably because Fraxium can have better matches with the SmackDown tag teams than they could with the Raw.
I'm not a Fraxium fan.
You have better tag team talent on SmackDown than you do Raw.
Right. Way better. It is more teams. Like, I mean, pretty deadly. Well, it was Garza and Humberto. I mean, you got DIY, you got Motor City Machine Guns. I mean, it's twice as deep on SmackDown when it comes to the tag team division versus on Raw. It's ridiculous. Yep. It's ridiculous. I just don't understand. It's under the same umbrella. Paul. Come on, Paul. Come on. Like when you do things right, I'm gonna praise you. But when you do asinine shit like this, where I just don't understand what the point is, why you shouldn't even have a tag team division on Raw then, at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm sorry.
No, please. Butters, you got any little rants you want to go on?
No.
What grinds your gears down there, Handlebars?
Look at yourself in the mirror. You can get yourself fired up about something.
Sexy as hell.
Oh, my God.
On that note, a lot of cool things coming in the pipeline, guys. I am not going to spoil anything for y'all. You guys just get to be along for the ride. I think it's going to be a fun one. But for that, that's Mr. Pete Evans right there. Down there's Handlebars. I'm Ritz. We will see you guys next month. Until next time, same bat channel. Follow us on all your social media platforms. We out.